jolly free to take. I jam a pet of you happy what the fe. I jam a what home will see a premier. Oh yes.
Joy.
And someone like cold as eyes and they're nice. The one cry. Never would up with him. Wow, my lady sweetness. He became a church in Bacaba. Wow, idea, fair, yeah, and one in the back. Ooh, my baby, and with a sunshine, the preference. Send me kite. Obana, two, and kites. Who's the happy, sexy progress? Yeah, there's a fool, make you want one bar, watch it from my home. Make you want one raja, Bahuka, won't again, Bahuka.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Yeah, girl. I'm born again. I tell ya.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Oh, honey.
I'm born again.
Sexy man.
I tell you, my girl.
I'm born.
All right.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Yeah, I told you I listened to the Lord. Lord Kenya. Born again. Right to the business of the day. Wow, 14th June will be World Blood Donor Day. So today I take a look at voluntary blood donation. Is it an act of solidarity or a civic duty?
You know it's another OPK classic.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Blood is life. We have the Ghana Blood Service, now an agency. And I have in the studio Dr. Dillis Jonte. He's head of clinical services and acting head of the Southern Blood Bank, as we know it in Accra. I'll be joined by David Ahiajuro. He's a chief blood donor, mobilizer, I think. Joining us shortly. He's into the business of donor recruitment. And then Noeline Kumo will join us. She's a voluntary blood donor. If you have any questions, concerns, experiences with blood donation, join us. WhatsApp is 055 11 11 997. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, and shortly I will activate the phone lines. So you're welcome, Dr. Jonte. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Nortey.
Great to have you. And wow, you're wearing red. Is it because you you work at the blood service? Is that why you're wearing red?
Yes.
Okay.
Blood is life.
Blood is life.
And
All
we
right.
are celebrating voluntary blood donors.
All right. Great.
Yes.
Right. And good to have you. World Blood Donor Day is upon us on the 14th. What does that signify for you working with the service?
For the service, World Blood Donor Day, it's a time for the whole world to publicize voluntary blood donation, whilst we are acknowledging our gallant voluntary donors.
Right. Salute to all of them.
We're saluting all of them.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is for the service. But as a worldwide event, we are promoting voluntary donations.
Okay.
Because it's a fact that blood that is obtained from a voluntary donor is the safest.
Right.
And so if you have people willing to do this, we need to celebrate them and encourage others to join this noble cause.
Okay. Great stuff. If you've just joined us, 13 minutes past your hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. The program is Ultimate Health, your ultimate guide to healthy living. Listen every Sunday, 2:05. We are live and up to date with all the precise, accurate, unassailable health information. Today we're talking about voluntary blood donation, and Dr. Dillis Jonte, you just heard, is the head of clinical services and acting head of the Southern Zonal Blood Center of the National Blood Service in Kolebu. We'll be looking at defining and understanding voluntary blood donation as against or as in contrast with replacement donors, right? And we'll see why that is so critical, so important. Before we continue, let me just salute recently retired head of the Ghana Blood Service, Dr. Justina Ansa. Wow, I can't believe 30 years of meritorious service. Justina, hey, Ayeko Oiwa Dong, right? She's a sister, she's a family friend, everything, and of course she's been heading the service and she has retired. That's a blessing, actually. So we celebrate you as we discuss voluntary blood donation. So Dr. Jonte, so coming back, I've got some statistics here I'll share with you, right? It says blood services output for 2022. I see that 26% of our blood collected is actually from voluntary donors. 26%, right? It says 173,938 units of blood were collected across the country. Well, it says output for 2022. 600 voluntary mobile blood collection sessions, and 100% of samples were tested for all mandatory transmissible infections. So we're doing good there. More than 2,000 educational talks on blood donation given, and over 30,000 units of blood processed into blood components. And we'll be explaining to our listeners what we mean when we say process the blood into components. But let me start with 26% of all our collections are from voluntary donors. Let's start with what a voluntary donor is.
Thank you very much, Nortey. So a voluntary donor is a donor who
Joy
willingly
99.7
gives
FM.
out his blood
Okay.
to be used for another person he doesn't know,
Okay.
without expecting any form of payment
Payment or reward.
or
Okay. Or
That
motivation
is-
or incentive.
Yes.
Okay.
That is who we term a voluntary donor.
Right. Let me just go over some of the components of what you just shared. Willingly gives his blood to somebody he or she does not know. We know people give blood for relatives, right? So that would not be voluntary, or?
No.
Okay.
That would
So
not be
that would be
voluntary.
what? Replacement?
That is family replacement
Family
donation.
replacement donation.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So somebody who does voluntary donation is not interested and does not know who will receive their blood. They are donating blood almost out of solidarity or as a civic duty. Can I put it that way?
Yes, as a civic duty.
Right. Something we must all do. Okay. But let me come to the figure 26%. Okay. This is from the site of the blood service. Right. So I just clicked on it and this is what I'm getting. Is that a good or an impressive figure? Or is it something we should be worried about, Dr. Jonte?
Nortey, you agree with me that 26% is
99.7
nothing to be
FM.
happy about.
Okay.
Because we expecting blood to be available to patients when they arrive in critical conditions
Okay.
or when they need it most.
Okay.
But this is a case where we have only 26% of what was collected readily available at the time a patient needs it.
Okay.
So it means that a chunk of the blood that is transfused to patients come from relying on their family members.
Okay.
Which can lead to a lot of unfortunate events in patients.
Okay.
We tend up losing a lot of patients because of this mindset of family replacement donations.
Okay.
Unfortunately, for us in Ghana, it looks as if more people are willing to do that kind of donations because they're waiting to know somebody needs blood before they come out to donate.
Right.
But if you have a patient needing blood and you are now coming to donate, then at the time donation is over, you may have lost the patient.
Right. So we need a stock of blood, right? Not
Yes.
blood that has a name or a label on it, right? Waiting for a specific relative or for a specific relative in need. And even in that instance, that may lead to critical time delay. That's what you're saying. So we need people to donate on a voluntary basis so we have a ready waiting stock of blood.
Yes.
Right. So this 26% tells us we are not doing good.
We are not doing good.
Okay. Right. Listeners, if you just joined us, 19 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. You're listening to me, Nortey by nature. I'm with Dr. Dilys Jonte. She's the acting head of the Southern Zonal Blood Center in Kolebu. There are other centers across the country, and they are designated specifically, and there are some that can receive blood and process blood. Okay, when blood is received, it must be processed, it must be worked on. Okay, so the zonal center is able to do all of that, and we're hearing, or you're hearing, that 26% of our blood comes from voluntary donors, people who willingly give their blood irrespective of who gets it, just to make sure that we have blood in the bank. The bank may not be doing that well from what we're hearing from Dr. Jonte if only 26% of collections are coming from voluntary donors. Now, those who do replacement family donation, which means that there is an actual patient on admission or in critical need, and therefore they rush to donate blood for that person. All right. Why is that a problem? Just explain for us.
All right. So when you have a patient or a relative preparing for a procedure that may require blood transfusion, or you have a patient on a ward requiring blood transfusion, you often want to do everything possible to make the blood available. Now, so a lot of the times we have persons who are not in good health, who just want to come out to donate the blood so that it could be used for their relatives. Sorry. Now, studies have shown that most of the blood units that are donated as family replacement donations have high risks of transfusion transmissible infections. So, whilst we are having more of them donating, it means that we are having to discard more of such units. Because if we're going to take our time to do the right testing, we'll pick up a lot more that have the HIVs, the hepatitis B, the hepatitis C, and then syphilis. But some of them, it may not be even the transfusion transmissible infections, but they are already not in good health. But just to save another family member, they are willing to do anything. So we say that the voluntary donor is the safest source of blood for any patient. Any patient. If you're a patient and you need blood, I will wish that you receive blood from a voluntary donor and not your family member. All
right. Okay. You brought up, or you've raised several issues. You talked about the health status of the person giving the blood, irrespective of whether it's voluntary or a family replacement donor. Who qualifies to donate blood?
Thank you very much. So nearly every adult or every person aged 17 to 60 years in Ghana
Okay.
qualifies to donate blood if you are in good health.
If you are in good health.
Okay.
Right.
Then, so when you're able to meet this criteria, then we have other minor criteria that we take you through.
Okay.
So, are you in good health? It means that the infections I mentioned, you are sure you don't have any. You may
Okay.
not know.
Okay.
So, we give the chance for those who do not know to donate.
Okay.
But because it is voluntary, if you are donating voluntarily and you know you have such an infection, you defer yourself.
Right.
You don't go through the process.
Okay.
So that is what makes the difference between voluntary
But the blood
and
will be duly
replacement.
screened anyway.
It will be screened.
Okay.
But our screening processes worldwide are not 100%.
Okay.
Okay. And
Right.
not every infection is screened for.
Okay.
Yeah. So we always encourage prospective donors to be true when they are going through a questionnaire.
Right.
So after going through that age margin,
So let's slow it down a bit. You meet or you fall within the 17 to 60.
yes,
And then you will be screened and you'll be asked certain questions.
you'll be asked certain questions
to verify your health status, your
health
history,
status.
and all of that. Okay. So you wouldn't want to be taking blood from somebody who is unwell.
No.
Right? Okay. So you go through that process.
through that
Right?
process.
And bearing in mind these risks that you're talking about. Right? Transfusion, transmissible infections, and many other things. Okay. Right. So we've gotten to that point. You haven't pricked the person, you haven't started taking blood yet. What happens next?
So after going through the questionnaire and you are successful, then we need to check if your blood level, which is the hemoglobin level,
Okay, your
that is what
HB.
you are going to give out,
Right.
is adequate.
Okay.
We are using 12 grams per deciliter for females and 13 grams per deciliter for males.
Okay.
So if you meet this level, we allow you to donate. Now we're checking your BP2. We are using weight. So all this is just put in place to protect the donor.
Okay.
One. And then also the patient
All right.
because of the infections.
Right. So you're giving life, so to speak, when you donate blood. But you must be in good status, good health status to give life. Right? And you're saying that this is a requirement. It will be checked. It will be verified before your blood is taken. Okay. Right. If you've just joined us 25 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM, I'm having a very interesting, let me say, essential talk with the Ghana Blood Service. I have in the studio with me Dr. Dilys Jonte. She's the acting head of the Southern Zonal Blood Center in Kolebu. And we're talking about voluntary blood donation. Seems like as a country we're not doing too well. We're not responding too well when it comes to this, but everybody is up in arms when blood is needed, right? So share with us your experiences. Have you donated blood before? If not, why not? If you have, what's been your experience? I'm expecting Noeline Kumo, who is a voluntary blood donor, won several awards. I think she's donated about 43 times over several years. I hope she is able to join us. And of course, the blood donor recruitment officer or manager for the Southern Blood Zonal Blood Center, David Doji Ahiajiro, will join us shortly. I've got a couple of WhatsApps. Let me see if I can read them out. Okay. Nortey, hello. It says, can you find out if a person with seizure disorder, epilepsy, can donate blood? Okay, I read a couple before Doc answers them. Thanks. Let me see. I don't know who sent that, but this is Nana in Teshi says, good afternoon, Nortey. Thanks for bringing the blood bank colleagues to your studios. Voluntary donation is the best, as you have said in Ghana. The campaign has been touted as if you do this, the donor will be set free or at least on time in future if they are in need. Once they show their donation card. Okay. However, this does not happen most of the time. The blood bank should maybe amend their communication. I know a lot of people who have come off the voluntary donation because of this. Let's dwell on the health benefits of voluntary donors, as the doctor is stating in the interview. This is Nana in Teshi. So people donate and they expect that, well, because I'm a voluntary donor, should I be in need or should a family member be in need? It's almost as if I've opened an account and I should get some kind of prime position service. What do you say to Nana? she's quite positive about voluntary donors and so on and so forth. But she says this may be a deterrent.
Thank you, Nana, and I'm very happy about your concern. Unfortunately, that is the mindset of some people who donate blood.
Okay.
We would not come out to tell you that when you donate and you need, you will get. But
Right.
of course, if a lot of people donate and you need blood, definitely you should get.
Okay.
But unfortunately, just a few are donating.
Okay.
And the few donating, some have lost the reason for which they are donating. So like you said, it's as if it's an account
Right.
they are opening.
Right.
But even if it was an account, there is a certain level that you need to get to before you need to give out. Yeah.
Okay.
But this is something you are doing voluntary. You are donating. You don't give to the orphanage and then go back to say that I saw an orphan on the street, so give me the clothes I gave to you to give to the orphan.
Right.
But
So
it is always beautiful that if a voluntary donor is in need, blood is made available to the donor to encourage other voluntary donors.
Okay.
But you said now family members and then distant relatives are all pulled into it. So the little that comes in, they turn around, come back to say that I donated, so I'm coming back for my blood,
right.
which is also affecting us.
All right. So if you just joined us, 29 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. The program is Ultimate Health, your ultimate guide to healthy living. With me, Nortey by nature. We're speaking to the Ghana Blood Service, and we're talking about voluntary blood donation, an act of solidarity, and indeed maybe a civic duty. The issue has come up that, well, once I'm registered as a donor and I have a card, when I flash that card, it's almost like my ATM card or my whatever, and I should be able to withdraw or cash out. Now, essentially from the definition given of voluntary donation, this should not be the case, because that expectation is the same as expecting reward or benefit, right? And this has become the difficult thing to sell to donors or potential donors. Tell us what you think, right? But all blood services, all blood transfusion services around the world run and are run on this principle and this basis, right? Otherwise, there will be nothing like a blood bank. We've just been joined by David Ahiajuru. Recruitment, what should I call you? Field Marshal for the Southern Zone Blood Collection Center. I've done so much work with his father, and he stepped into his father's shoes. And David, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Right, great to have you. We're just, dealing with this issue of people who donate and think there should be some, should I say, preferential treatment when their relatives need blood. You recruit donors. I must say, or let me leave you to say it. This must be a tough task. 26% of our blood collected is from voluntary donors. So your recruitment, Charlie, how is it going well? Is it should I say dwindling, or are we progressing? Are we moving upwards when it comes to recruitment of voluntary donors?
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to your cherished listeners. And apologies for coming late. Yes, like you indicated initially, it's a tough terrain,
right?
If you ask me. And with the recruitment, I think we doubt the donors or the volunteers. Our work is just in vain,
right?
And then, like you saying. Most of the donors or the recruiters, the voluntary donors for that matter,
right.
Actually will want some kind of preferential treatment.
Okay.
When at least they are also in it, because they also see it as helping and probably are indispensable so far as what you need is concerned.
Okay.
So it's a very difficult terrain. But what normally happens is that with a lot of education and then letting them have the insight as to the critical role that they are playing.
Okay.
Then at least that helps, in getting us something. But meanwhile, like you saying, the donation, voluntary donation percentage is not nothing to write home about,
Not
so
encouraging.
to speak. Yeah.
Right.
And then that makes the onus to lie on all of us, irrespective of whether you are a donor recruitment person or you are not, to actually join the fray, to try to educate and get someone on board, so that it's, at the end of the day, we have the blood available, so that nobody knows who will be at the receiving end.
Okay.
If it happens that we also happen to be at the receiving end, then we will also be of help. So
Okay.
I think it's a collective responsibility.
Right.
That all of us should make sure that at least we are getting the blood there, so that at
Okay.
least when we need it, the blood will just help
All
us.
right, we all need to be blood ambassadors. Oye Nafenya, right? I receive it. I am in your home. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, Joy. I have donated several times since 1996, but my records have not been updated. How can I update my records? And how many pints can my family receive? Right? The same thing, oh, Chale. I have done over 22 times. This is from Seto in East Legon. And Seto is asking Chale what's in it for his family, right? It means the communication doesn't seem to be going down too well. Are we saying the wrong things? Are they hearing the wrong things? Or are we mismanaging expectations? I'll bring that to you in a sec. Let me read a few more. Nortey, please, can you find out if a person with seizure disorders can donate? Doc, do you want to comment on that? Yeah.
A person with seizure disorders
Epilepsy. Yeah.
can never donate blood.
Okay.
Okay. You are not well. You
Okay.
may be stable at certain times,
Right.
but nobody can tell when you have the seizure. So we advise anybody with epilepsy or a seizure disorder never to attempt to donate blood.
Okay. Right. Henrietta Mante says, good afternoon. Me, I don't understand mindset too. What does the doctor mean by that? My name is Henrietta Mante. So the attitude, the expectations, right? Should I say, the way we construe this is what is giving us problems, right? We are donating blood and we do so willingly and we are registered as voluntary donors. But we expect that there must be a catch. That card that registers us, that card that signifies and indicates we're a registered donor should give us benefits. And what we're saying is that no blood service across the globe runs like that. Otherwise, it will crash, right? So we need to rid ourselves of that mindset in order for the blood stocks to rise. That means people will give willingly, right? And this would not be a stumbling block or a deterrent. Doctor, I said, David, how do you recruit donors? Okay. I know you give talks in schools, you encourage schools, churches, organizations, recognized, identified bodies to donate. But what goes into recruitment?
Well, so like you rightly said, in fact, with recruitment, it's actually information.
Okay.
Information actually goes into recruitment to let people know that the vital blood that that patient in the hospital needs for survival must come from them or you, like all of us.
Okay.
So that is the information. But the thing is, I think we need to get the concept right, because it's like we are not getting the concept right in the sense that most people think with the word donation, when they give, then it's like they've loaned the blood to you. That
Okay.
at a later day they will come for the
Right.
blood. But that isn't the case. The thing is, you've given to save a life. In fact, you've given when it matters most. And then once that goes into helping, the idea is that at least once we are able to take care of the system will automatically also try to push more in.
Okay.
So that at any point in time there will be blood to save lives.
Okay.
But here's the case with the little or the few that normally gives, make sure that at least they are providing for the system. The majority sit back and without actually trying to even contribute. So when that happens, then there is a shortfall within the system.
Right.
In the sense that the little that are giving the blood, and then majority is also benefiting, but the majority is also not trying to make sure that how can we also contribute to make sure that at least that blood comes so that we get it in enough quantity so that at least we are safe.
So essentially, David, what you're saying is that we understand the need, but we only understand it when it is a relative or it is us. That is when we move. But we're saying don't wait for that. Just donate on a voluntary
basis.
regular basis. So having said that, let me come to this. How often can a person donate?
Yes, one can donate once every 4 months. So within a year, effectively, one can donate 3 times.
Right.
Yes, and then let me add here to that. You see, most people also probably, I don't know whether because we've not been able to educate well, things that the blood when it's donated stays there.
I was coming to that. We'll come to that in a second, right? I'll come to that. But you can donate 3 times in a year.
Yeah.
Okay. How much blood do you give per donation?
One gives 450 mils.
All right.
450 mils is actually a tenth of the total volume of blood that the person is carrying.
Right.
Yes, depending on the size of the body, the person has between 4,500 to 6,000 mils of blood. That is quite a lot.
Right.
So taking 450 mils is just like a drop in the ocean. So it's just we are taking just a little of your reserve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will anything happen to me when or after during donation? Will anything change? Will I feel anything?
No. Once the donor has actually gone through all the processes and the eligibility criteria and the person has passed, it's expected that the person nothing will actually happen to the person.
Okay.
So that's why we always advise that at least pre-donation information is critical.
Okay.
And then even during the donation is also critical. Then after the donation, post-donation information is also critical for you to take.
All right.
So that nothing untoward happens.
Okay. So you owe it to yourself to give genuine, valid information. You owe it to the person who may receive your blood to give genuine, valid information to the blood service, and to make sure that this process is undertaken smoothly.
Yes.
Right? Okay. If you mislead the officers, then again we're going to have a lot of trouble. Right. 39 minutes past the hour of 2. I'm going to activate the phone line shortly. Good afternoon, Nortey. Please ask for me. Is it true that at a point in time the blood becomes too much, then we need to donate? That we need to donate, and if not, it will disturb the body. Ajiman Joseph, Ajingo. Ajingo is asking that if you don't donate blood, you get to a point where you, the person, have too much blood, and therefore you need to let some go, right? Doc, can you address that for Ajingo?
Okay, so Ajiman, I think probably may be talking about different things, but I know that voluntary donors who donate regularly say that when they miss their donation time, they feel, I think they feel uncomfortable.
Right.
They are not happy.
They're in withdrawal.
You get yes.
Oh my goodness.
But there are some people who have blood in excess of the normal.
Right.
So they also have a health condition.
Okay.
Yeah, so if that is what Ajiman is describing, those persons are referred by their clinicians to also donate, but their blood is not used.
Okay.
So there is a criteria for that too.
Okay.
So if it is the normal donations, then you are within the normal HB levels.
Right.
Nothing should happen to you, but you just feel unhappy because you haven't
psychological.
done what you should do.
Okay, right. Okay, great stuff. I've got callers on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Nortey.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah, this is Dantila, my freedom. Nortey, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Dan. How are you? Been a while.
I'm very well, Nortey. My condolences for your part. Right. Yeah, Nortey, I've donated 20 times. And just last week, one of my my nieces had to be admitted to Ridge Hospital for delivery issue. And I get my card for, I'm a voluntary, let me say I'm a voluntary donor. I donate on a regular basis. But when the card was taken to Ridge Hospital for the card, for it to be credited for the blood for the delivery issue, they were asked to take it to Kolebu, and that they said the last time I donated was 2016. So for that reason, they couldn't give any blood. I was so irritated. So wondering what is happening. If I donated for all this long, and it's due for my nephew or any relation of mine to receive blood, why would I be told such a story?
Dan, can I just engage you, Dan? So the thing is that you have donated, and that blood, thankfully, and thanks to your generosity and civic duty, has gone to somebody.
I donate voluntarily on my own.
Right. Okay. Now, if everybody was doing what you were doing, then it is not a matter of your donation or your status as a voluntary donor that your nephew or anybody else will get. So that is the challenge we have. That's what we are contending with, right? I can understand and identify with your frustration, but it means that if everybody does that, then we will not have stock for anybody. So that's what we're discussing here, and we're trying.
Not the point now is that why then do I have to donate voluntarily? I've donated over since 1990. I've donated over the period. You could imagine a period. Yeah. So when it comes, it's due for any relation or whatever that I need to give my donation card for the person to give it
Dan,
blood.
your donation card is not a credit card. It is not a credit card, okay? It just indicates that you've been altruistic and you've donated over time, all right? Otherwise, then the blood bank should operate like an ATM. You use your card.
I'm not clear on it. No, I wouldn't agree with you this.
Right.
I'm not clear.
Okay.
Honestly.
Right.
Honestly,
Okay.
I'm not clear with this.
Right.
Honestly.
I
Because I donate for humanity. Okay? On my own volition, I donate for humanity. So when at any point in time in a relation or myself, if I have to be giving blood or any donation, and this is what I'm being told, then that is just
then Dan, you are not donating for humanity. I'm sorry, but then you are not donating for humanity. You are donating with an expectation, and we've defined the voluntary donor, and that is the only way we can sustain this. I understand your frustration, but if you donate for humanity, leave it at that, okay? And then humanity will take care of itself. Unfortunately, and it's not your fault, unfortunately, we are not getting the critical mass to make that donation to humanity effective enough. But I do share and I do identify your frustration. But if you donate for humanity, let's leave it at that point, okay? Thanks for sharing with us, Dan. Okay, right. I have another caller. Hello.
Hello, Nortey. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Who am I speaking to?
You are speaking to Lawe from Bechile.
Lawe from Bechile. You're most welcome. Share with us.
Thank you. For instance, I went to donate for somebody at Kolebu. It's about a decade ago, and my blood group is AS, and my sickling is positive. And since then, they tell me, ask for my blood, like a blood group of AS is difficult to give it to others. So since then, it puts me off. So I want to know if you people want a category of blood that you want at your bank.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks. And may I commend you for donating. He's been giving some communication, some feedback that his blood group is not that common or is difficult to give to people. And he feels discouraged. Are you, headhunting? Are you looking for particular groups? Should this be the case?
Yes. So what he is talking about is not blood group.
Okay,
he's talking about the hemoglobin type he has.
Right.
We have AS, AA, and then SS, SC.
Right.
And the blood groups are A, B,
That's
O,
right.
AB.
Quite
so
right.
What he has is not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It is those who have the sickle cell disease, anemia.
Okay.
And then the SCs who do not donate blood.
Okay.
So for him, he has no problem. I'm sure he's received an information from a source that is not very authentic.
Okay, so
he
the
shouldn't be
communication,
discouraged. He should come on board and then
he should not be
donate
discouraged.
blood.
Okay, but then you should therefore be speaking to your officers and personnel. Okay, if indeed one of them gave out this information wrongly, all right. Of course, there's a lot of hearsay information going on as well. All right, I'm glad we clarified that. Do we have a caller? Nope. Okay, 0302-216-541, Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7 FM. Very interesting issues coming up, right? And you see, Dan made a point. He said he gave his card, and his card was shown at Ridge. Now, Ridge also responded in a curious way. They said, take it to Kolebu. So they are accepting the fact that the card should give him or prefer him some preferential treatment. So why should Ridge also tell him that take the card to Kolebu as if he has his account is at Kolebu, right? Is that not miscommunication of sorts?
Miscommunication.
Right.
But it depends on who he meets. So now the education is to go down to every health worker, because it's not every health worker who may understand these processes.
Okay, let me butt in and ask you, so what is your relationship with the health facilities? You are the Ghana Blood Service, right? Somebody may be a nurse, somebody, and they say this. What is the relationship with the health service? Or what relationship should they have with the Ghana Blood Service or the Ghana Blood Agency?
Okay, thank you very much. So under normal circumstances, the blood service provides blood and blood component to the hospitals.
Okay.
And we also provide information or educational sessions for them.
Okay.
So we organize continuous medical educations yearly.
Okay.
Okay. Now this is because
But you are separate from the hospital.
we are separate.
Right. Good.
But we are all health service providers.
Okay. Let me just take this one in, right, for the benefit of my listeners. Listeners, bear with me. So, can a hospital like Ridge collect its own blood and keep it? Because I know from what sets you up, the law and everything, right? The definition of a center or a zonal center is critical. Can individual hospitals and maybe even private hospital clinics, by law, can you collect blood and keep it?
So by law, hospitals that have not been given the mandate by the National Blood Service to collect blood are not supposed to collect blood.
They are not designated as centers.
As designated as centers.
Okay.
And any hospital that is designated as center has the center close to the hospital because the hospitals are the main users of the blood.
Okay.
But the blood service are in charge of their activities.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the blood service law took a long time in coming into play.
Right.
Okay, so a lot of hospitals...
It's in effect now.
Yes,
right.
A lot of hospitals started doing their own things, okay, by collecting blood from replacement donors to make it available to patients.
All right.
But with the law in place now, we're trying to bring all on board.
Okay.
So that the coordination is from the blood service.
The blood service must coordinate collection and dispensing of blood and blood products to hospitals. Okay.
And we need the support of everybody because we were doing what was not right.
Okay.
But what is best for patients is what the nation has decided to go with, which is a national blood service.
Okay.
So to make blood safety something for everybody, and we are appealing to the hospitals that they should come on board. The blood is for the patients.
All right.
Blood service does not need blood.
Okay.
We just collect and give out to patients
Great
who
stuff.
need blood.
I can't believe we only have 10 minutes left. I have a caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Lucy.
Yes, Lucy.
Yes, please. My church donates a lot to the blood bank of most of the hospitals around us. We donate to Kolebu. We donate to 37 and sometimes the police hospital. But what she's saying now is she's trying to say that we cannot donate to those other hospitals, but only to the Kolebu place.
Okay. Right. So, you have another input?
My other question is that some time ago, when my church donated and somebody is sick, when we send a letter to the blood bank, they help us. 2014, I did a surgery, and the blood bank was able to donate the blood because of the humanitarian things we have been doing way before that. So I don't know what that is saying that if you donate, you cannot get the blood. You have to go and queue. What is that? Look, a lot of people, it would discourage a lot of people from doing that. So they should have a look at it.
Okay.
But if you are somebody who saves life and you donated 20, 10, 30 times and you are in dire need and they cannot help you, though you are going to pay for it, I think it should be looked at.
Okay. Great stuff. So, hey, we have a conundrum here. Big one. Big one. I have another caller on the line. Hello.
Hello. Afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Where are you calling from?
Accra.
And what's your name, sir?
Kwame.
All right. Kwame, share with us.
Yeah, I was donating when I was in secondary school. I donated more than, getting to 20 times. But unfortunately, I have lost all the certificates. But my problem now is that, the blood group, do we have -0? Because they were saying that I belong to -0. I said, so I just want to find out from Doc whether we have -0 and then +0. Thank you.
All right, -0 blood group. I almost said Justina. Hey, Dr. Jonte Dillis. Right, we've got work to do. I've been doing this for years, and I'm amazed that we're getting this much resistance. But let's respond to this one. Blood group -0.
Thank you very much, Nee. So the blood groups, they are alphabets. Okay, they are not numbers.
Okay.
So we have A, B, AB, and an O.
Right.
And any of them can be positive or negative. So I'm sure what our listener is trying to describe is probably O negative,
right,
but not -0.
Okay, and the negative is for?
The negative is what we call RH. So there are some
factors.
people have RH, others do not have.
The resource factor.
Yes.
Right.
And now we call it RH. We are not allowed to say resource.
We're not allowed to say,
That's
oops.
why I'm saying
Okay.
RH.
I smack my lips, huh? That's why I bring them into the studio. Me, foot soldier. Right? Great stuff. Look, we will dedicate time to this. Anytime I engage the blood service, these issues come up. Right. Now, Lucy says that, look, she, on behalf of or with her church, they donate to many institutions and so on and so forth. And she's wondering, and she's curious, from what you're saying, are these other hospitals and things not to collect? Now, Lucy, what we said was that a collection center must be duly designated under law. It was there before already, right? Now it's been tightened. It's not today. It was there before, I know. Right? But there's been a lot of work strengthening the legislation, and now that is in place. Okay? So that's what she meant. But then Lucy went further to say that in 2014, she had surgery. And Charlie, what are you saying now? She says there were letters written to the blood service and she was assisted. Right? And in the past, this was possible. Right? So what are we saying now? So have you been falling on your own sword? Is it that you say that this should not be the basis, but you've been offering some people preference, and that is the basis of the miscommunication and the misunderstanding? Because she says, we write letters and we say, oi, look here, we're so-and-so church, right? Sometimes they add international as well, right? And you respond. So can you, both of you, address this? Can an organization write to the blood service and get what seems and sounds like preferential treatment?
Anything? Nortey, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
From our description, realize that it shouldn't be a thing for an organization to write a letter.
All right.
But they do write. I'm aware, or I'm informed this letter writing started long ago. But when your letter comes and it's explained to you and you don't agree to what is being explained to you,
right,
then it becomes a bit challenging. Now, letters come and there is no blood. So what do you do?
All right.
I'm sure maybe when her letter came, it's not because of the letter, but there was
it's
blood.
It's not the letter,
but
right?
there was blood available.
It's because
so
there's
she
blood.
Had the blood.
Right. Okay. But then, because but so do you respond to these letters?
Individuals bring the letters. So you engage them.
You engage them. Is that not hang on. Is that not a formal administrative response? Be it written, verbal, over the phone. Is it not a response? And doesn't not create the problems we're talking about now?
Yes. It may be one of the ways the problems is worsening.
Or is it a backdoor way of recruiting and making sure that these churches, these organizations donate?
No, you see, when
is
the
it a catch-22?
When the letter comes,
yeah,
and you take your time to explain to them that this is not why the church donated, they go back to the church to inform the church. I have a lot of people who go back and say that, I didn't understand this. They bring more members from their church to donate,
right,
because they understand that the blood is not available. Other times, there's a lot of misunderstanding. So it means that our donor recruiters would have to go back to the institutions and to educate them.
All right. Okay. Great stuff. 57 minutes past the hour of 2, which means we have 3 minutes to wrap up. And I have so many WhatsApp. Let me see what I can do. Zip. Why are persons with certain conditions, example, epilepsy, hypertensive, not allowed to donate blood? Is it because they will transmit their condition to a recipient? Or is it because the reduction of their blood will be detrimental to their health? This is 9. So can I get a quick answer to that?
Yes, it's because if you are giving out, you should be healthy. If you are not healthy, we don't expect you to give out. So it's not because of your blood, but your health status in general. Okay.
Someone says you should revise your policy. The point is, if I'm a voluntary donor, I need to get something out of it. I have said it the way it was written. Seto says that, please, you have not dealt with the question of updating records. I have donated over 22 times. The critical mass is obviously not motivated. And this is what somebody who's motivated 22 times, he wants to have his records updated. You pay money into the bank doesn't show, your balance doesn't change. How? Uncle David?
Yeah, so it depends on the type of donation that he's talking about. But we have systems to capture every donation.
So how does Seto go about getting it updated?
We have systems to capture every donation. We capture voluntary donation. We capture family.
What should Seto do?
Donation. So Seto can walk to our office or probably where he's been doing the donation.
Right.
So that at least he gives us an information.
Right.
Who could help him now.
Okay. Otherwise, Seto will set up on you. All right. Nortey, good afternoon. Now there is a spiritual twist to blood donation. People fear now that their donated blood goes into wrong hands for ritual purposes. Oh, how true is this? Elijah from Kaswa. Charlie, I be people be doing some Ojiji Krujis with the donations. Silence. Hey!
We can't do anything with the donations. The patients need the blood.
Okie dokie. Thanks so much for the selection. Indeed. No. Mr. Alfred Nortey Dua, my full name. Which group type is also safe to be a donor? Why a donor have some time to deny blood aid when they are seriously in need? I donated blood in 2019 till now. I have not received my card. And anytime I step there, story upon story. But on my birthday every year, I donate to anybody who is in need at the moment. Douglas from DC. He used my full name. That has power. Get Douglas his card. Right? So please. Douglas from DC. I will follow up.
Yes, Douglas will follow up.
Right? Remember, I'm the online ombudsman some time ago. The airborne assemblyman. Hello, Nortey. Please, if there can be some incentives for perpetual donors, I believe we will have people who will freely donate, okay? But there comes the catch. You use the word freely, and then you want incentives. Hey, child, that's why I'm not president too, right? My time is up. Ultimate Health, good afternoon, sir. Please, why do hospitals charge for infusion of blood donated by volunteers? By voluntary donors, okay? We'll come to charges next week. We'll come to how long the blood stays there, because your blood will be broken down into different components and each has a shelf life. Let me read this from Dede in Maryland. Hello, does donated blood have a shelf life? Dede, we just talked about that. If yes, it must be communicated to the donors that the blood is not stored forever to give to them when they or a family member needs it. This is from the day. To expect a preferential treatment and jump the queue when you need blood, then that for me is quid pro quo donation. Blood donation should be seen as a gift from the goodness of your heart, and it should not expect benefits from it. Dede in Maryland says that on that note, I have to end it. But hey, blood is life. So definitely we'll continue to give life and clarity to the service and what they do. What kind of components is the blood broken down into? How is it used? How long does it stay with the blood bank? Are they doing any spiritual Ojiji Krujis with it? All that next week. All right, all that next week, and we'll sort all these things out. Many thanks, Dr. Delis Jonte and David Ahiajiro from the Southern Zonal Blood Collection Center, that's Kolebu, right? We'll look at the structure, the architecture of the blood service across the country, and we'll get to understand everything. Why do they charge? What do they charge for? They say processing. People don't understand that. So next week, I'll have you back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for enriching our programming. Thanks to my discerning listeners. Wow, you guys are on fire. But let the fire turn into blood, okay? We need that. Stick and stay on Joy 99.7 FM. Up next is the Joy FM family pop quiz. All right? And Lexus Bill, I haven't seen him today. I always check what he's wearing. But he's around, and I know the families are revving up for the Joy FM family pop quiz. The questions no be easy. That is why I leave at this time. Many thanks for making my day. My name is Nortey by nature, produced by Abeku-san Kofi. Stick on Joy FM. Don't go anywhere. I'm out like that.
How I'd love to dance with